Good morning. My name is McGuire, and I represent 7th grade in CLC, Comment Leadership.
Good morning, my name is Bianca and I represent 5th grade in the Comment Leadership Council. Parents are invited to join Kelly Schmidt in the library following today's assembly to learn more about high school application process.
7th and 8th grade volleyball will play games at the Healdsburg School today. 8th grade plays at 4 p.m. and 7th grade plays at 5 p.m.
Picture Day is this week. Kindergarten through 4th grade will be photographed tomorrow, and 5th through 8th will be photographed on Wednesday.
There is a math counts meeting on Tuesday at lunch in Miss Gabe's room.
3rd grade members of the library lunch bunch meet Tuesday in the reading room with Miss Prothrow.
The cross-country team has a meet on Tuesday at 4 p.m. at Spring Lake.
The Slugs have a harvest fair planning meeting on Wednesday at 8:30 in Miss Pohl's room.
Comment Leadership Council meets at lunch on Wednesday in Mr. Bacon's room.
On Wednesday, 7th grade volleyball will practice at 3:15 p.m. in the gym, and 8th grade would play a game at Mark West Elementary School at 4 p.m.
There is no school on Thursday for parent-teacher conferences.
The 5th, 6th, and 7th, 8th, and 7th and 8th flag football teams will play on Thursday at 4 p.m. and 5 p.m. respectfully.
The cross-country team has practice on the field at lunch on Friday.
The yearbook meeting on Friday at lunch in the R lab.
If you have extra produce or need produce yourself, check out the display on the table by the office.
Friday is Free Dress Day. Thank you everyone who has helped us for our goal of 100 uniforms for students in Louisiana by the flooding in Louisiana. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ellie, and thank you, Callum, and good morning. It's great to see everybody this morning. Welcome back from a hot weekend. It's going to be hot outside today as well. I know we've got a lot of fall sports starting this week. It's going to be kind of pretty warm all week, so be sure you're drinking water. And we have lots of great opportunities around campus for you to fill up those water bottles. So bring a water bottle to school, fill up, drink, and it'll help you get through the day feeling a lot happier. So that's my public service announcement for this morning. Another one is we're starting a new school year, and we have a new website, and that we're really excited about it. And I'm especially saying this for parents in the audience. One of the things that we are accomplishing with our new website is making it mobilely responsive. So you should be able to see it and use it via your cell phone. So here's the landing page and lots of great information on there, a fresh new look, and it especially works well on your phone or tablet. So let us know how it works for you. We can and go check it out. But we're really happy with the way this is looking and what we see on there so far. Lots of fun pictures can go check out. and get a sense of what are some things that we're making sure we're promoting on our website. Then the last thing before we get started, we talk a lot at the beginning of the year about mission and guiding principles, community code, but I made reference to something at the very first assembly, our pledge to ourselves. And I wanted to just go back over that just a little bit before we start assembly with the rest of our assembly this morning and share that. So I'm going to read it or say it to you. I want to talk a little bit about what it could mean for you, and then we'll practice saying it together. So this day is given to me fresh and clear. I can either use it or throw it away. This is my life. I promise to use this day to the fullest, realizing it can never come back again. Now, this pledge can mean a lot. It can mean different things to you. It might mean make the most of every day. A lot of you hear a lot of our 8th grade hosts talking about themes related to that. It could also mean that if you experience a setback or make a mistake or experiencing something that represents some failure personally, that you get a fresh start the next day to start fresh and clear, learning from that, and making the most and trying to improve on that. So in one way, we talk a lot about a growth mindset. This pledge is really about having a growth mindset. That every new day you get to start fresh and clear, improving on the things that maybe didn't go as well as you wanted them to the day before. That could be with regard to your classes, homework, remembering something, an outside hobby or sport that you pursue, or friendships. Also talks a lot about you get a fresh chance every day to be a good friend and a good classmate at school. So, our pledge to ourselves. Let's say this together, nice, loud, Monday morning voice. Okay, ready? This day is given to me fresh and clear. I can either use it or throw it away. This is my life. I promise to use this day to the fullest, realizing that it can never come back again. All right. So something you might want to talk about in your classes this week. We don't say this every week. We want it to be a pledge that's fresh and clear for you, not something we're just saying by rote. But we do refer to it from time and again as a way of reminding us that we do have that chance every day to make the most of every opportunity and to start fresh when we need to. All right. So let's have our announcers. We have McGuire and Bianca. Let's welcome them to our stage.
Good morning. My name is McGuire, and I represent 7th grade and Comet Leadership Council.
Hi, my name is Bianca, and I represent 5th grade and Comet Leadership Council. Parents are invited to join Kelly Smith in the library following today's assembly to learn more about high school application process.
7th and 8th grade volleyball will play games at the Healdsburg School today. 8th grade plays at 4 p.m. and 7th grade plays at 5 p.m.
Picture days this week. Kindergarten through 4th grade will be photographed tomorrow, and 5th through 8th will be photographed on Wednesday.
There is a math counts meeting on Tuesday at lunch in Miss Gabe's room.
The cross-country team has a meet on Tuesday at 4 p.m. at Spring Lake.
The Slugs have a harvest fair planning meeting on Wednesday at 8:30 a.m. in Miss Pohl's room.
On Wednesday, Comet Leadership Council meets on lunch Wednesday in Mr. Bacon's room.
On Wednesday, 7th grade volleyball has practice at 3:15 p.m. in the gym, and 8th grade volleyball will play a game at Mark West Elementary School at 4 p.m.
There's no school on Thursday for parent-teacher conferences.
The 5th, 6th, and 7th, 8th flag football teams will play games on Thursday at 4 p.m. and 5 p.m. respectively.
The cross-country team has practices on the field at lunch on Friday.
There is a yearbook meeting on Friday at lunch in the R Lab.
If you have extra produce or need produce yourself, check out the display on the table by the office.
Friday is a free dress day. Thank you to everyone who has helped us reach our goal of 100 uniforms for students affected by the flooding in Louisiana.
Thank you.
Girls, boy, that's a busy week. Our host today is somebody who is an independent thinker in her own person, and she brings that to her class, and I think is really appreciated for that. She's also a voracious reader. You can always see her with a book in her hand, although I don't think this morning on stage. Let's welcome Natalie to the stage.
Hi, I'm Natalie, and I came to SCDS in kindergarten, which makes me a lifer. I've been here for more than half my life, and it's the closest thing I have to a home away from home. Take this glass. Is it half full or half empty? I personally think it's half empty. I'm a pessimist. I know it, and I'm not afraid to admit it. When I was younger, I wasn't ever really a pessimist, and when I wasn't looking like a red-eyed, soul-eating demon, I was perfectly happy. I didn't care what people thought. All I was worried about was what to play at recess and how soon I could have dessert. I didn't care about things like optimism and pessimism, but eventually I looked them up in the dictionary and found that optimism is defined as hopefulness and confidence about the future or the successful outcome of something, and that pessimism is defined as tendency to see the worst aspect of things or believe that the worst will happen, a lack of hope or confidence in the future. Once I knew the meanings, all I could think was, what's wrong with expecting the worst? That way, if something better happens, then you won't be expecting it, and it will be a nice surprise. Before consulting the dictionary, I believed that an optimist was a happy person, and that a pessimist was a sad person, which I now know is completely not true. As I got older, my view became more pessimistic. I started to expect the worst out of things so that when they actually happened, they would seem better. I stopped believing that it was a bad thing. Being prepared became my motto, and from expecting the worst and hoping for the best, then it was all to make my life a little bit better. But even as I grew more confident in my ways, more and more I got comments about my negativity. I've been called sarcastic, a worrywart, a killjoy, and most fabulous and epic and amazing of all, Negative Natalie! Thank you, Ellie, for that term. One reason why I'm possibly a pessimist is that I've had a lot of experience with Murphy's Law. Murphy's Law states that if something can go wrong, it will, and usually at the worst time. A prime example of this was at my most recent Lego competition. My team had practiced for weeks and weeks until everything was absolutely perfect. As soon as we started our performance, every single thing that could have gone wrong did, even some things that we had never gotten wrong before. After that, I expected to come in last place, wouldn't you? But then we got third place, and I was ecstatic and happy, and I celebrated for the rest of the day. And then I realized that there were only 2 other competitors in the competition. But by then, I had already celebrated, and it wasn't worth my time complaining. Another example of Murphy's Law was when we were taking Christmas pictures at the mall. I was about 1.5 years old. I would not stay still. My sister and I ran all around Sears hiding from our parents. When they finally found us, we grudgingly agreed to sit still for one picture. They said, "Hold on tight to your sister, Juju." And so my ever-loving sister grabbed me by the throat to stop me from moving, thus creating a beautiful picture and an excellent story. Another reason that I might be a pessimist has to do with my genetics.
let's talk genetics. Is this glass half empty or half full? This glass of water is a metaphor for how you see life. Do you see life as half wonderful or half terrible? Are you an optimist or a pessimist? Now, it's true that the way you see life has to do with your outlook, but you may also be influenced by your genetics. A difference in the gene ADA2B can cause someone to have a pessimistic outlook or an optimistic outlook on life. Gene ADA2B has to do with the production of neurons. If all the alleles are wrong, then a person is more disposed to be optimistic and focus on things like love, whereas if 2 of the alleles are short, then the person is more likely to be pessimistic and focus on things like death. About 80% of the population are optimists, while only 20% are pessimists. An interesting thing, however, is that when imagining positive events, the left half of your brain lights up, whereas when imagining negative events, the right half of your brain lights up, but much less. This shows that the brain tends to filter out negative events, causing your perception of life to be better than it actually is. So whether you're an optimist or pessimist, remember that it might just be your DNA.
Although I am comfortable in my pessimism, I still get comments like, someone must have woke up on the wrong side of the bed, and turn that frown upside down. Just because I don't have a naturally sunny disposition. What is so bad about not being happy all the time? Most people seem to think that if you're not a bundle of joy and energy every single day, that something must be wrong with you. But in a society where people are free to think what they want, why is there a stigma attached to negativity? Everyone seems to try to cram the ideals of optimism and positive thinking and keeping an open mind down our throats. There's nothing wrong with being happy, but some of us would like a reprieve sometimes. There's nothing wrong with thinking positive, but sometimes preparing for the worst makes whatever happens seem better. And there's nothing wrong with keeping an open mind, but sometimes keeping your mind in one place can be very helpful, especially when writing a speech, when I was very tempted to get lost in YouTube. Some argue that the glass is half empty, and some argue that the glass is half full. Some say that the glass is always full because air is made of atoms too. And some say that since atoms are 99% empty space, the entire glass doesn't really exist. But whatever you think, remember that if water is a metaphor for life, we're in a drought. Don't waste a drop. Our first speakers today are our Comment Leadership Council advisors.
Kathy White, come on down. Good morning, I'm Molly Hill.
I'm Amy Bear. I'm Kathy White.
And along with Mr. Bacon and Ms. Lasky, we are the CLC and JCLC advisors. And we wanted to give you a little preview. This week on Wednesday is our first CLC meeting in Mr. Bacon's room at lunch. CLC is our student government organization. JCLC is for first and second graders. That's the Junior Comment Leadership Council. And CLC, the Comment Leadership Council, is for third through eighth graders. We would love to have new members. If you're a new student or if you're a returning student and you've never joined CLC, we invite you to join us on Wednesday at lunch in Mr. Bacon's room. Some of the things that CLC is responsible for is planning events like Field Day, the Talent Show, Rock the House rallies. They also are the news spreaders every Monday morning at Assembly. These are our Assembly announcers. And then they take the charge of community service initiatives like the uniform drive for the people in need in Louisiana. So we invite all of you to come out, even if you just want to get a taste of it. Come on Wednesday to see if it's something that you'll be interested in. CLC meets every Wednesday at lunch, and JCLC meets Thursdays at lunch. We already had our first JCLC meeting, and I had about 20 students there, so it was really successful. It's going to be a fabulous year in CLC, and we invite you to join. Any other comments?
I just have a reminder on behalf of my colleague. There's also an entrepreneur club meeting today at lunch in Miss Harper's room.
Thank you.
Thank you, CLC advisors. And now, from the live SDS studios, it's back again. It's the Global Cardboard Challenge Report.
Thank you, Natalie. Good morning. I'm Molly Hill,
I'm Melissa Kang.
and this is the Global Cardboard Challenge Report. We have breaking news for you this morning. Once again, Sonoma Country Day School is looking at a virtual cardboard mountain. According to Facilities Director Sean McFarland, we could practically build our own amusement park with all the cardboard we have.
Funny you should say that, Molly, because that's exactly what we're inviting students and families to do.
No way, Melissa. Really? That sounds totally fun. When will it happen?
Well, we hope everyone's already marked their calendar for Saturday, October 1st. All SCDS students and families are invited from 9 to 1. We're calling the event Playland.
Oh, I get it, like a land of play.
Right. A park. Lost my spot. A park to amuse. An amusement park. Get it?
Oh, yes. What else do people need to know?
Well, nothing really. All you need to bring is your imagination and...
An adult chaperone.
Oh,
Right, Mr. Nichols. Got it, but seriously, don't forget to bring your good ideas for creating our own amusement park.
you mean like rides or arcade games or a petting zoo or a souvenir stand?
All of those, Molly. Sounds like you already have a lot of great ideas.
Thanks, Melissa. I'm pretty amused by this whole theme. Now, can anyone come?
You bet, Molly. From kindergarten to 8th grade, all students are welcome.
With adult chaperones.
Okay, Mr. Nichols, thanks for the reminder. It sounds like this day will be fun for the whole family.
You said it, Molly. We look forward to seeing everyone on Saturday, October 1st.
I'll be there.
I'll be there. We'll both be there.
Well, that's all we have time for today. I'm Molly Hill.
I'm Melissa Kang. Thanks for tuning in to
The Global Cardboard Challenge Report.
Those puns were pretty amusing. Thank you, Ms. Hill and Ms. Kang. And now I'd like to invite Dr. Reaver back to the stage to close today's assembly.
Thank you, Natalie. Great job. I was reflecting on trying to think of what the pledge to ourselves from the viewpoint of a pessimist would read like. We'll have to work on that. So, if you visited the Sonoma coast in early September, you might have seen an unusual sight. I don't know if our Point Reyes group saw some sea creatures passing by that looked like this. You'll see in just a minute. That looked. So the Go Adventures founder and CEO, there he goes. These guys were passing by. Jim Neville wrote an article for the Press Democrat last week and had some great photos in it. And the article was about the inspiring journey taken by these brothers, Ryan and Casey Higginbotham. The pair are on prone paddle boards, journeying from Alaska to the Mexico-United States border. 2,200 miles. Ryan and Casey are California state lifeguards from Pismo Beach and have been surfing most of their lives. Their goal is to bring attention to the most pristine sections of coastline in North America and help with their conservation. Prone paddleboarding is done lying down. and my neck hurts just watching them. I don't know how you do that. It's like paddling a surfboard using only your hands for propulsion. The brothers paddle 5 or 6 hours a day and cover anywhere from 10 to 25 miles, depending on the conditions. Every 5 days, they take a rest day. Their boards are light, but can carry 60 to 70 pounds of dried food, clothing, camping gear, the bare minimum needed to survive in their marine wilderness. The brothers' original goal was to reach their destination by July. They reached Point Reyes National Seashore on September 1st. So do the math there, where Jim interviewed them and took these pictures, obviously still far from the U.S.-Mexico border. They were 167 days out from their departure and already 60 days behind schedule. Like any wilderness journey into the unknown, they've experienced unexpected setbacks. It rained all but 3 days during the first month. Both brothers have broken their boards when big swells challenged them safely traversing the surf zone to the beach to camp for the night, and both times they were delayed while new boards were made. They described the coast of Washington as brutal. They said it felt like every 20 miles there was a river bar with breaking waves rather than rolling swells. Their GPS went out after a month, and they've been relying on marine maps ever since. While they were originally worried about grizzlies at the start of their trip, their scariest animal encounter was a 15-foot great white shark who bumped Casey's board near the mouth of the Cal Salmon River in Oregon. So I think to Natalie's point, I think they've done a good job of preparing for the worst and experiencing some pretty bad stuff, but making their way through it. And you can follow their journey on their website, NorthAmericanPaddle.com. They now hope to reach their goal next month, barring any additional unforeseen challenges. Well, Ryan and Casey definitely represent the word perseverance to me. And perseverance is from the Latin word perseverare, which means to abide by strictly. Never giving up despite some incredible obstacles certainly requires strict determination. We've talked in the past about the concept of grit, something studied by psychologist and author Angela Duckworth. When Dr. Duckworth was in her late 20s, she left a demanding job in management consulting for a job that she describes as even more demanding, teaching. She taught 7th grade math in the New York City public schools. And she quickly realized that what separated her best students from her average and poor students wasn't IQ. Her smartest kids were the ones who worked the hardest and especially learned from mistakes and failures they experienced. Dr. Duckworth reached the conclusion that every one of her students could learn the material if they worked hard and long enough, and they learned from mistakes. In other words, the students who had grit performed the best in her class. Dr. Duckworth describes grit as passion and perseverance for very long-term goals. Grit is having stamina. Grit is sticking with your future day in, day out, not just for the week, not just for the month, but for years, and working really hard to make that future a reality. Grit is living life like it's a marathon, not a sprint. If you want to know more about Dr. Duckworth's concept of grit and its connection to growth mindset, you can hear her TED Talk, and I'll put that link in the next 10,000 minutes this week. And if you like TED Talks, you should definitely save the date for our 5th annual TEDx Sonoma County on November 5th. And our theme this year is perspectives. So that definitely fits with the idea of Dr. Duckworth's perspective on grit. You can visit TEDxSonomaCounty.com to learn more. So think as we sit in silence today about what Ryan and Casey Higginbotham are doing. Their journey takes serious grit. It takes being willing to see past hardship and failure to a long-term goal 2,200 miles away. It takes saying each and every day, I can. As we sit in silence, I'll leave you with this quote from leadership coach and author Robin Sharma. Your I can is more important than your IQ. Have a great week.